Hi everyone, welcome to a new UE5 tutorial. In this video, I would like to show you how to integrate Metahumans with the Advanced Locomotion System. With this approach, you don't need to retarget animations, and the IK for hands and feet work by default. This technique is simpler and faster than the ones I saw on YouTube, as there is less ALS blueprint editing to do. I would like to show you the final result so we can see what we are going to be working on. Okay, so here, as you can see, I have a new project. I just added the Advanced Locomotion System, and we're gonna be adding more stuff that we need. So for this to work, we need to add the third-person template. So I click Add, then Add Feature or Content Pack, and then I'm going to select the third person. Add to project. The next step, it's going to be adding a metahuman. So I go to Window, Quixel Bridge, and then on the metahuman tabs, you can add any of those already created metahumans, but I'm gonna add my own metahuman. So here you have the metahumans you have created. You have to download it first. So once you have it downloaded, then you can add it to your project. Then I'm gonna enable all the missing plugins, and then I'm asked to restart the editor. So I restart now, and I see you in a moment. Okay, welcome back. So the first thing we are going to need is to locate the blueprint of our metahuman. And then I'm going to create a folder so everything is well organized. So metahumans, my character, and then I'm going to copy it there. We're gonna edit the blueprint. The first step here it's we are gonna go to class settings. We are gonna change the parent class from actor to the ALS AnimMan character PP. But because I'm gonna be making some edits to this blueprint, I'm gonna create a copy. So I have always a backup in case anything goes wrong. So for that, we go to the Advanced Locomotion, Blueprints, Character Logic, and then this is the blueprint that we want, and I'm gonna move it here, or copy it here, copy. Then the second thing we are gonna need, it's the animation blueprint as well. So now that we are here, I'm gonna open so I can locate that animation blueprint. Select mesh, and this is the animation blueprint that we want. So again, I'm gonna copy it here in my folder. So those are the three things that we are gonna be needing right now. So I go back to my blueprint. Let's change the name so it's easier to recognize them, just in case we get confused. So I'm gonna rename this one. This one it's the blueprint. So blueprint Advanced Locomotion. Oh, this is the animation blueprint. Animation blueprint And then this one, it's the blueprint animation. I blueprint for the character. Blueprint ALS character. Okay. So back to our blueprint. I'll go to class settings, and then now we can change. And we are going to select the blueprint ALS character. And then we are going to get those two errors that we need to fix, because otherwise we are not going to be able to see what we are doing. So these errors are very easy to fix. And what we want to do is to move the body to the mesh. Then we can remove the root. And then we are going to go to the construction script. And here we can see that we have two errors. And that happens because now we are a child of the blueprint from the AnimMan, and that blueprint already has these variables, and that's why our skeletal meshes for the feet and the torso has been renamed. So we just have to replace those variables here. Okay, so now we can compile. We don't have errors anymore. We can go to the viewport again, and our character is there, and we have to reset its transform. So we can just click here, here, and now as you can see, the character, the metahuman, it's in the same place than the AnimMan. Next step, it's we select the body, then this variable, we need retarget mode enable, we want it true by default. So now, as you can see, the metahuman is already using the same animations than the AnimMan. Okay, let's try this out. A moment. So our character here. Then I select the AnimMan. I'm gonna say pause. I'm gonna disable, and then select my metahuman and assign the player 0. Save. So as you can see, we have a lot of errors, but this is just 2 errors, and that happen on tick. This one happens on tick. It's due to the coloring of the mesh for the AnimMan, but as we are not using that mesh anymore, that's why we are getting all of those errors. And this one happens due to converting the blueprint of the metahuman to a child of the AnimMan blueprint. So I'm going to show how to fix those errors right now. The first thing we want to do is go to our blueprint, and on the event graph we want the begin play event to call the parent first, because now this blueprint is a child of the AnimMan blueprint, so we cannot have two begin plays event playing at the same time. That's why we are getting that error. So here we can do add call to parent function. Compile. We still get all of those errors. Let's fix them. We have to go to the blueprint ALS, and then here on the event tick we have this update coloring system. So we need to disable that. We are not calling this function anymore, but I'm gonna leave it there. And then if we play, we don't have errors anymore. Another thing I want to show you, just in case you like to work like this instead, I like to keep my AnimMan there, because like that I can check if the animations that they are sharing look similar to the both characters. But if that's something that is bothering you, you can just you can come to the mesh, and then on the search I'll do this, and then here uncheck this, so you can just see your metahuman. But I like, as I said, I like to have my other character there, so I have a better reference and see how they move together. So in most cases, maybe that's good enough for you, but I'm gonna go a little bit farther here and try to adjust as much as I can. So to do that, we need to create a retargeting system, but with the new retargeter from UE5. So I'm gonna go to animation, and I'm gonna create the IK rake, and we want to select the AnimMan. So IK. This process is a little bit long, so I will time lapse it after I do a couple of examples. If you have any doubt how to do that, what I did and how I learned to do it was using the IK rig from the UE4 mannequin. So we can go to characters. That's why we added this content pack. It's because it contains examples, and it contains other IK rigs that we are going to be using. So on rigs, that's the one we want. So I'm gonna be using this as a reference. So I like to kind of put this in a second screen, so I have a better understanding of what I'm doing. Okay, so let's start here, and yeah, we just have to go one by one and try to not miss anything. So we need to create here the chain, the bond chains, and that's what UE5 uses to retarget the skeletons. We select the first chain, it's spine 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm gonna click a new retarget chain from selected bonds, and this is gonna be called a spine. And again, if you don't know how I'm doing that, I'm just copying from the UE4 mannequin, because the AnimMan and the UE4 mannequin, even if the skeletons are a little bit different, they share the same structure and the same naming convention. So it's very similar. I'm gonna put it in my other screen. So the left arm comes from here, upper to the hand, Here I made a mistake and I selected the hand instead of the feet, so we can just come here and select the right one. Okay, so we are done with this part. Now we have to add some more stuff for the root motion and the full body IK. So one of the steps is come here and select pelvis, and then we are gonna select this option, set retarget root. So the pelvis, it's what creates the root motion. I'm gonna save. Let's save everything. Then the second thing we need to add is the solver, and this we are gonna be adding all the IK goals and all of that stuff. That's gonna help us later to adjust the pose of our metahuman. So we select the full body IK, and then we need to come back to pelvis, and we are gonna be like selecting this option, set root bone on selected solver. If you have doubts of what are we doing or what you need to do next, just come here, and as you can see, we have to add all of these settings, and then we are going to be adding the IK goals. So we are almost done here, but yeah, it's a long process. The good thing is once you have this process done, you can save that file and share it on your other project. So you just have to do it once. Okay, so pelvis, add settings to selected bone, then spine, same. And once you have done this, you see it's not telling you that you're missing bones anymore. So still some other things to add. Now we are going to be doing the right part of the body, so clavicle. Okay, so the next step is to create the retargeter. So let's go to our folder, and here we are going to be creating a new blueprint, so animation, IK retargeter. And here's going to ask us where are we copying the animation from, and we are copying the animation from the Advanced Locomotion System. So it's the IK rig that we just created. And then here, the IK rig, it's gonna be the Metahuman. That comes with the third person template. So that's why we added at the very beginning of the video. And I'm gonna add my skeleton here, the body of my metahuman. And now here in this step, you can spend as much time as you want. I would recommend to try to match as possible this pose, because as close you get to this pose, it's gonna make everything look better, the position of the hands, the feet, etc. So to do that, I'm gonna remove the offset, and then as you can see, they have different scales. I'm gonna increase my scale to 116. No, that's too much. 113. Yeah, around 113 looks good. And as you can see, the position is very close, but these little offsets, it's what makes the big difference. So I'm gonna try to fix that. And to do that, we can edit the pose. So as I was saying here, you can spend a lot of time to be sure you are like very close to the original pose. So it's gonna reach a point where you're very close, but there are still adjustments that you want to do. And I realized that there is another way you can make small adjustments. And this is if you go to the chain mapping. You can actually select, for example, the left arm, and you have an offset here, so you can make small adjustments so the hand can be closer. And again, here you can spend a lot of time making sure the pose is very close. I'm gonna copy all of this and move it to the right arm. Let's check where we are, see what's going on. So if we go to the blueprint, before I move to the resize of the meshes, I want to point out something. Here in the retargeter, if you do the auto map chains, it's gonna find all the, because we use the same name conventions, it's gonna find all the chains. But then because the metahuman has more bones, it's assigning, for example, the pinky metacarpal to the left pinky, and we don't really want that. So I'm gonna, for the bones that we don't have from the AnimMan, I'm gonna just do none. Because otherwise, I saw in some cases it creates some issues. So all the ones that we don't have, I'm gonna say none. And the other thing we need to add that I forgot, it's we need to add our solvers here. So left arm, it's gonna be hand left. Right arm, it's gonna be hand right. Left leg. And if you have doubts of what goals you have, what IK goals you have to use, you can always come back to this UE4 mannequin that it's already created by Unreal Engine, and you can just follow here. So it's worth to point that they use foot, and they just change the name. By default, instead of foot, we are using ball. but this is just because they changed the name. So left leg, ball left, and right leg, ball right. So now we have everything set correctly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna resize this one. We know the body should be 113, just because we did that in the Retargeter. Okay, but here we have, yeah, it's a little bit higher because the head is a little bigger, but I think that's fine. What we want is the rest of the body following correctly. And then we can make the whole mesh smaller, so the character is not bigger than compile. And then the next step, and I think it's going to be the last one, it's to adjust. As you can see here, the Metahuman is still not following the AnimMan, and this is because it's not using the retargeter that we just created. And to do that, we have to come here to the retarget setup. This is a function. Let me double click. Then we want to come here and we want to change this class. So I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna rename that. Okay, so now I can change this. Okay, compile and save. Then we are gonna edit it, and we are gonna go to the Anim graph, and here that's where the magic happens. We are gonna select our retargeter, and that was retargeter IK retargeter Metahuman to ALS. So we can compile, save, and if we go here to our blueprint, as you can see, now the bodies are very, very close. So this is how you integrate Metahuman with the Advanced Locomotion System without having to retarget any animations, just by using the retargeter in the animation blueprint. So let's play. The AnimMan mesh, and we are gonna be done. So I selected the mesh, I click this, and then remove it, compile, save. And that was all. I hope you find it helpful, and please let me know if you have any comments or questions down below. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and see you next week.